Okay, BMW bros, and really anybody who has Alcantara and leather, I'm gonna do some cleaning. Now, let me explain myself. I got the seat out of the car, not really for the video, not really for the cleaning, mainly because I had the real squeaky, the table squeaking. But we had a real squeaky mechanism here, so I sent the guys out to Advance Auto to get, or I guess it was AutoZone, to get every single silicone spray lubricant they could find, and so we found something that works where the seat's no longer squeaking. So that's why I took the seat out, and then I figured I want to clean the interior because I've been doing a whole revamping project of the M3, getting it dialed in, which has been a disaster, but anyway, it's almost there. And so the seat's out, we might as well clean it, we might as well grab the cameras and show you how it works, since I want to clean the interior anyway. So we have, like many modern interiors, we have leather adjacent to Alcantara, and we have some plastics and stuff like that. And so I'm going to take you through how my current procedure looks like for cleaning. I don't know if this is right or wrong, but it seems to work pretty darn well. I actually started using a steamer for the first time when I did the Corvette, because the Corvette had really matted, pretty much ruined Alcantara. And so these seats are actually in really good condition. These are BMW Performance seats, which really just a Recaro Sportster with an integrated BMW side airbag, so it bolts into the car. These also have seat heaters integrated. I haven't wired it up because I live in Florida, but we should probably do that at some point. So I'm always torn on whether to do the leather first or the Alcantara first. I think it makes sense to do the leather first, but before we do anything, we want to vacuum. So you want to vacuum up all the dirt and all the funk, make sure you got all the dust and all that crap out of here, and then we're starting with a relatively clean surface. A vacuum testing is coming in the future, but for right now we're using this Flex vacuum, which is okay. Got this weird backfire thing going on, but always start with a good solid vacuuming. At least that's what I do. Remember, all of my videos, they're not how-tos, it's just how I do it. It just so happens that most of the time I kind of know what I'm doing. But as you've been watching me over the years, it doesn't mean I don't screw up a lot. I think that backfire thing may be that the bag is getting caught inside. I don't know what the heck that is. But anyway, just a real simple cleaning of the surface. We'll do the job. I need to get a better, flatter crevice tool for this application. This isn't really the best way to do this, but. So, Alcantara for me is not a problem. I mean, a lot of people complain about Alcantara not being durable. To me, it's actually super, super durable. It's also sandable, which I didn't know until recently, where you can actually sand it if needed to. This won't need to be sanded. This is the driver's seat. Okay, we're gonna need this vacuum again. Try to suck out, even though I don't have it set up in wet mode, but we'll be able to get the job done. Okay, so what I have are my, Rag Company green 80/20 towels, which are my favorite interior towels. These are 16 by 24, my favorite size. I've got an Adams sponge block. I've got a couple of Color Lock sponge blocks. I've got some Sonax Alcantara Cleaner. I've got Color Lock mild leather cleaner, which is all I'm gonna need because this leather looks pretty good, but they also have a strong cleaner. I've got leather protector, which I don't think I'm gonna need. And I've got leather shield. And then I've got the brand new and improved Color Lock brush that is now made in black and made specifically for Obsessed Garage. So we have these as well in the store. And then I also have the Swiss Vax version, which we have in the store. I've been talking about adding color lock as well. Actually, there's many aspects I like of this is Alcantara Cleaner, which I'm not going to use, but I actually really love the Swiss Vax leather cleaner. It's just so darn hard to get. And leather milk is the same product as leather protector. So Swiss Vax, I forget what they call it. I think they call it leather. I don't remember what the other cream they have that is the same as Shield. But Color Lock makes this product for Swiss Vax. This is not a Color Lock product. This is a Swiss Vax product. Their leather cleaner is different. It's nice. I like both of them. It just depends on what I'm doing. But for this application, I want a little more control. And so I'm going to use the foaming mild cleaner here for the leather sections. And so we'll do the leather first, which there isn't a ton of it. But the concept here is to get the dirt out of the leather. And that's where I never used a brush before until the last few years. Actually, maybe even year. But this brush is freaking magical, man. It completely transforms how you clean leather. It's so much better. It's just such a better way to clean it. Gets in all the grooves, cleans out all the funk. And that's really all you need to do. And a mild cleaner in this case is all that I need. And notice how it foams up. And then I put it on the surface, agitate, and what I'm doing is I'm getting all the dirt and grime out of the crevice or out of the cracks and crevices of the leather. Taking it back to its original, notice how matte, how clean the finish looks. Getting rid of all the surface oils and dirt, but we've also removed any kind of protection. So, and I've done some relatively extensive training with my friends from Color Lock. I usually leave the leather care to the leather care companies. So, you know, I love Gion and CarPro and Adams and all these, you know, detailing companies, but I leave the leather to the leather experts because leather is quite a bit more sophisticated. It's kind of like, you know, Meguiar's is an expert in polishes, Sonax is an expert in polishes. Well, Color Lock is an expert in leather care, and so, you know, they make a lot of OE products for a lot of different detailing companies, but using the product direct. And Swiss Vax would also be a leather expert. They're more of an expert of compiling and pulling in some of the best products into a single brand, but I'm going to avoid any kind of leather coatings, any leather protectors, any of that bull crap. It really isn't needed. And so all I want to do is surface clean the leather and then use what's called leather shield. So you don't want to coat, you don't want to lock in or lock out the breathability of leather. This is the way I understand it, the way I've been told by Lars, who's the owner of Color Lock, and Ram, who's the U.S. representative for Color Lock. I just want to keep the surface clean and unclogged, but I don't want to use these like leather coatings and all of that stuff. There's no reason for that. Leather shield becomes your sacrificial layer, but it's not a coating. It still allows all the breathability and all the characteristics we need in order to keep our seat or our leather that we're sitting on and our dash and stuff like that in order to keep it looking new and fresh. So we don't want shiny leather. Shiny leather's bad. Shiny leather means that you've got it clogged with dirts and oils. I just want a nice, clean, matte, protected finish. I do this maybe once a year, and that's all I really need to do. Maybe every 6 months if you're daily driving the car. You'll also find that these leather cleaners actually do really well on plastics too. Especially that darn Swiss Vax stuff is amazing. There's a little shininess on the side here, so take note of that. I don't have to, like, you know, again, people get really scared about Alcantara. As long as you keep cheeseburger fingers off your Alcantara, you're gonna be okay. But, you know, I get in the car, it's sweaty all the time. I mean, I live in Florida, we only have a choice. As long as you do this, you keep it nice. It's always more fun when you have a more beat up surface. Like when we did the Raptor, I just thought I had shiny leather. Well, it's just never been cleaned before. So, gosh, this table's annoying. And so I want to be cognizant of my stitching, but you know, if you have quality stitching, you shouldn't have to worry about it. I do want to clean out my brush too. Start to fill up with dirt. So let's do this section here. Let's flip my brush around. Since you guys get the idea, I'm going to set these aside. So we don't need those for this application. So I don't have the color lock in the store yet, but we'll have it up here soon. I got to get moving on it. Again, the biggest issue I've had with the Swiss Vax product is getting it here. They just can't supply me enough of it to keep my interior package in stock. And you can, again, you could use a strong cleaner, or you could go over this multiple times if you had to. Yeah, this is only gonna need one. Not super dirty. But man, these seats are so nice. I paid $7,500 for these things used. Okay, let's wipe the side down. While we're here. Back's not particularly dirty. I don't really need to mess with that. Okay, so let's get into the more complex part, which is the Alcantara. So again, we already vacuumed it. So we'll set this towel aside for leather cleaning. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to grab a leather cleaner. Again, Swiss Vax has strong leather cleaner and regular. I know this isn't leather back here, but it's such a good deep interior cleaner. And it works really well on plastics. But it's a little pricey, a little expensive to be wasting to use it on the interior all the time, but I guess you could probably use it as your interior cleaner if you wanted to. It doesn't smell particularly good or bad, so there's no, like, a lot of interior cleaners smell nice. Again, I'm not doing it, sorry, I'm not showing you on camera here. I'm not doing anything transcendent. I'm just spraying it on and wiping it off. Okay. So now let's mess with our Alcantara treatment. So what I'm going to use is Sonax Alcantara Cleaner. This stuff. I love this stuff. It smells good. It works well. I just find it to be a great product. I've got like a little spot here of some funk. I don't know what that, candy bar or something. I don't know what that is. It's not a candy bar. I'm not eating candy bars in my M3. But the Alcantara is clean, soft, nice. But we're going to make sure to keep it maintained by keeping it clean. That's the key with Alcantara, is you don't want to get it dirty enough to where it's saturated with dirt. And so to keep it nice, we would want to just keep it clean. And to keep it clean, this is how we do it. So I was taught this by Lars at Color Lock. Think about this like washing your shirt. The cleaning of the shirt is not the soap getting into the shirt, it's the soap coming out of the fabric, right? So the rinse cycle is where the cleaning actually happens. And so same thing here, this is a fabric, and so what we want to do is we want to get the cleaner into the surface, but then we want to get as much of the cleaner out of the surface, because with that cleaner comes the dirt. And so where in the past, the concept I had was I'm just going to get I need to rub the cleaner in and leave it. Well, it doesn't, I don't know why I didn't think about this, but that doesn't make any sense. You know, we want to get the cleaner in with as little water as possible, so I don't want to soak this down if I can help it, but I do need to get this wet in order to clean it up. And so here's how we're doing, here's how I've been doing it. I like to use my steamer. This is a Dupre Tosca steamer. And the reason why I like to use this is because I have a lot of control of the water. You could just use a spray bottle, but I want to get the surface wet, then put my cleaner in, then try to get the cleaner out as much as possible. So we're going to do sections of this at a time. So let's turn our steamer on. And let's bring it to number 2. You don't need a steamer. You could just spritz this with some water. Where I came up with this idea was on the Corvette. I really needed a steamer to try to clean it out. I'm going to just get a little bit of water on there. Then I'm going to take my cleaner. I have a bottle that I'm kind of finishing up here. This is an Adams foam block. Take this. I'm going to put it in as evenly as I can into the surface. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go rinse out my brush to get the leather crap out of here. I would suggest having like 10 of these brushes laying around because I use them for all kinds of stuff. And then I just want to agitate. Again, this may feel a little too stiff. It's not. Again, I'm just using it to lightly agitate the surface. I'm going to leave the cleaner in there while I'm doing each section. Yeah, I like the idea of cleaning the leather first. This here. Take what you could do, you could skip the sponge. I like the sponge because I feel like I have the ability to spread it around a little bit more evenly, but I might just be making that up. You don't need a ton. This stuff has makes me think of like hotel sanitization. I don't know where I get that from, but it makes me think of like a swim club extractor smell, like very clean smell. I wouldn't say it's a good smell, but it's very clean, very cleansing smelling. And we'll keep working through here. Again, the steamer's not really cleaning anything right now. I'm just kind of getting it damp. I just find this to do such a good job of atomizing the water that it's perfect for this application. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but this has become my system. And man, does it work well. So the reason why I love Alcantara so much is, you know, fabric feels cheap, but leather is just too freaking hot. And so I found Alcantara to be just such a great product for, let's just get this damp, for using in an interior. So I was afraid at first that this brush was a little too stiff, but after seeing the Color Lock guys work with Alcantara, I find that it's actually perfect. So again, notice it's not soaking wet, but it's, you know, it's damp. So I'm going to treat this sections at a time like I'm doing here. I'll try to show you the steering wheel as well. The steering wheel is the one thing you really want to keep clean. If you don't clean it, then what happens is, you remember like those little things in the 80s where they had like those little the little ball removers, like a little shaver thing that would grab the balls off of a sweater. Well, what's happening is with Alcantara, when it looks matted and nasty, what you're getting are those little balls like you would on a sweatshirt. And so what happens is the fabric releases from the backer, but then gets tangled up in the fibers. And so if that happens, it happens from it getting too dirty and just being beat up and not being maintained and cared for properly. But then what you have to do is you have to sand it. I'll show you that sanding block. Again, I don't think we're going to need to do any sanding here today. Yeah, this thing's about done. So we don't want to sand if we don't have to. Sanding is a lot like polishing your paint. You don't want to polish your paint unless you have to. Because if you polish your paint, you're removing some of the material. So if I sand my Alcantara, I'm removing all that mattedness or those little balls. But I'm also removing some good material as well. Okay, so we're going to treat the top section separately. So now I'm going to get it a little bit wetter. So let's go up to 3. Again, it's still a steamer, so see, it takes a little bit. See how much water we're getting on the surface. We're not soaking it down, but we are getting some dampness. And I find the heat doesn't hurt either. And so then, I'll set that down. I'm going to take some fresh towels and I'm going to try to get some of the cleaner out as much as I can. You know, I'm not like ramming into it, I'm just kind of surface rubbing with our squeaky table. Yeah, go get me some of that silicone, Bryce, and start hosing it down. Gosh, and then when this, I'm telling you, when this dries, it's like the freaking softest thing on the planet. It's awesome. And again, this wasn't particularly dirty. If you want to go check out the Corvette videos where we really get into some nasty looking ruined Alcantara, check out some of the Corvette interior videos. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is take my vacuum. You should use a wet dry vac, but I'm just going to go with it. It'll be fine. And try to suck out as much of the dirt as we can. course, if you had an extractor, you could use that. I just don't like extractors. I feel like they, I don't know. I just don't find myself getting dirty enough to need it. It would be better if you had a flat tipped nozzle, but I don't have. I thought I had one, but okay, and then what I'll do is do one more pass like this. Yeah, they're the 200 series, I believe. I'll take the towel, fresh towel. Again, I'm not being rough with it, but I'm not being gentle. Like, I don't have to be scared. If you're getting matting, like if you're getting balls and pieces of Alcantara kind of mat up, that just means we're going to have to do a light sanding to it. It doesn't look like I'm going to need any of that. I'm looking pretty good here. Just kind of take my towel. And so now hopefully we've released most of the dirt from the seat. And I guess a much smarter thing to do would be to go from top, go top down. I'm gonna lay it on its back. I'm gonna get all this crap off of here. And we're gonna do it. Since we got the seat out, we might as well make it convenient for us. That way we won't be dripping crap on our clean area. I should have done this part first, but you get the idea. Go 2. Telling you, it's super satisfying having this, your interior dialed in. Although I hate doing it. But luckily, I'm not eating Hardee's on my M3 Alcantara interior, so I don't have to worry about it too much. And you can see no pressure, just gentle agitation. Just want to lift out the dirt and get the dirt detached if I can, but I clearly don't want to detach the fibers. Grab a towel. Gently agitate. And so there's no exact science. Clearly we're not getting all of this out. We're not getting all of the Alcantara Cleaner out. But that's okay. I used to just put the Alcantara Cleaner in and leave it, so I know it's fine to leave it loaded up. I really need to get a little... I don't have a set of tiny little... Oh, I do next door. I should go grab that. Little scissors. It'll do better when this dries. These are my ARS. Amazing fabric scissors that I use to cut paper. Okay, now let's do our leather shield. I'm not going to do protection cream. Protection cream, so the loose formula is you would do leather shield if your leather is 2 years older or less. I know this leather is older than that, but it's in such great condition that I don't feel the need to do anything and do the extra step. If it's 3 years or older, then you would do leather protection cream followed by shield. So again, shield becomes a sacrificial layer. So when you get in the car, there's always going to be transfer from your jeans onto your shorts onto the leather, or leather onto your jeans, vice versa. And so what shield does is becomes the transferer, if you will. So it's like a coating, but not a coating. You know, it's not going to seal up the leather. So it's going to be very breathable. So I'm going to take this, a little spongy, some shield, shake it up. It's chemical. Always shake it up. Learned that from my friend Larry Cosella. Always shake your chemicals. And I'm going to take and put this on as evenly as possible. More is not better. Just get the appropriate amount on. Have your table squeak crazy and drive you insane. And then we take a towel. I'll leave that on there for a minute. Get in here a little tighter if I can. Let it sit for a minute or two. You don't want it to dry because it'll leave streaks. So you do need to wipe it flat. You know, I'm avoiding the Alcantara as much as I can, but it's not going to hurt anything if I get a little bit of overage on it. Take my towel and I wipe it flat. I don't want to buff it off. I want to make sure it's flat. It shouldn't add any shine, but it's treated or protected my coated leather. Unless you have some really funky stuff, like an F350 King's Ranch or something, you can pretty much take to the bank. This is the way to take care of your modern leather. You don't need anything special. You don't need special, I guess this is special, but you don't need any goofy stuff. You don't need any coatings or anything like that. You just take some leather cleaner and a brush, some leather shield, and a little sponge like this. You just saw how easy the Alcantara is to clean, so I don't think you need to be afraid of Alcantara. And that's the process. And then what I'll do is after this all dries, we'll inspect it, and then I'll do a light sanding if I need to, which hopefully I won't. You shouldn't. The way you'll be able to tell is if you've got a bunch of balls, a bunch of dislodged Alcantara, then you need to sand that. Fresh, clean, and hopefully squeak-free seat. This has been on my list for a really long time to fix. Okay, that's it. Let me show you that sanding block. You can't just sand it with anything, and don't ask me the grit, because I don't know. Just buy this one. I have it in the store. So here it is. This is a leather sanding pad that also serves for sanding Alcantara, and you just lightly sand it. And it will release any fibers that are kind of matted up. which I don't know if I don't think we're gonna have any, so we should be good. Look at how good that looks. You could come and make all the Alcantara go one way. That's good. Okay, let's get inside the car. Okay, so my steering wheel is starting to show some signs. This is a M Performance steering wheel. A little bit of signs of wear and tear. Same thing on my shift knob. I should have cleaned this sooner than I am in order to keep it maintained, but we're gonna treat this the same. I'm gonna take a towel, just kind of put it in here, keep my gauge cluster from getting all wet. Again, not that we're doing a crazy amount of water, but that'll help keep us clean. And because I've got the car up in the air, nice thing is I can turn the wheel, which is super helpful. Okay, got that. We're going to take our Alcantara cleaner, put it on our sponge. I'm going to work it in. This is the area that, once every 6 months, I may not clean my seats as much as I do my steering wheel, but again, if you take care of Alcantara, it shouldn't be too bad. It should hold up. The problem is that most people don't take care of it, or they don't know how to. Or the worst thing that can happen is if you try to take care of it and you use the wrong stuff. That's what the Corvette guy did, I bet, that had my Z06 before me. Man, it was ruined. The car only had 20,000 miles on it. But I mean, what is this steering wheel? $600-700 if it lasts me 5 years? Just get a new one. This and the shift knob, shift boot is always super satisfying to get cleaned up. I'm not in love with, I didn't really intend to keep that Alcantara shift knob that I got from IND. Intended that to just be a temporary thing, but I've liked it so much. But it is starting to show a little wear. That is one spot that I find doesn't do very well. It's nice cleaning the interior without the seat in. I'll take this. I kind of wanted to do this one twice, just to get it clean, because I've never cleaned this wheel since I've gotten it. So notice I'm not loading it up with product, just enough. Get the job done. I've done it before when I first started doing this. I'm like, man, I need to really lay this on here. If you put too much on, then it will not leave your hands sticky, but you'll feel the chemical on your hands for a few months. And see, the beauty of the steamer is I'm not getting enough water to really mess anything up. So I'll probably end up sanding this little spot here. Now you gotta be careful when you're sanding. You gotta tape the surrounding areas that are plastic, otherwise you'll sand that, which you don't wanna do. I've never done that trick before where it makes me look like I'm a freaking rock star here, just turning the wheel by having it up in the air. I never thought about that, but certainly makes cleaning your steering wheel easier. This darn scissor lift makes everything in life better. So this is starting to get really beat up. It's the one time that sitting in the back seat isn't helpful. I'm trying to reach the shifter. So what I really want to do here, be careful with this, but real gentle. Like I said, I need to clean this more often, then it'll stay nice. Oh, notice this had more stuff, more matting, so I got it a little bit wetter than the rest of the car. It looks like it's going to clean up nicely. I do want to get some leather on this. All right, so I'm going to clean the passenger seat, and then I want to vacuum, do a solid vacuuming. So I'll clean the passenger seat, and I'll come back to you and we'll show you some B-roll vacuuming, and then we'll clean the windows, and then we'll clean all of the dash and doors and all that stuff. So I'll be back to you in a few. I've really got to get on the vacuum project. This one is not it. I don't like leaving lines in the carpet. I'm not a soccer mom that needs to feel like I got my value out of my detail. Actually, I should have used this. This thing's great. Oh yeah, it's gonna be satisfying. So, I'll show you in a minute, but I had a real problem with the floor mats. The last two batches of BMW floor mats, the Velcro strips have come off, and so what I did is I got some pretty heavy duty glue and glued them on. There's some fabric glue. Otherwise, it's a darn disaster. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun someday chasing vacuums and vacuum attachments. Maybe I'll start liking cleaning interiors. To me right now, I'd rather be any place else. I hate this. Why in the world would you spend any more time than this cleaning floor mats? Just buy new ones. You see detailers cleaning up floor mats all the time, just freaking get new ones. They're like 50 bucks. I think they're like 150 for a BMW. So every other car, that costs nothing. If you were doing like high-end details, that'd be part of the service that I would provide, to say, look, part of the deal is we order you some new floor mats so they arrive by the time your scheduled appointment comes in. Do that once every like 2 years or something like that. That'd be a service that I would consider providing. I'd also consider providing like new trim pieces and stuff like that for certain cars if you're going to get into really high-end detailing. I know a lot of people would pay for that if they knew it was an option. Okay, windows. So I use two tools. This goofy thing, invisible glass reach and clean tool, which we'll use on the back and the front. And then the waffle weave towels from my store that Rag Company makes. And then you have a couple of options. I'm not going to use this on here, but Angel Wax Vision. Whatever you do, don't ever sniff this. It'll burn your nostrils out. But if you had some real goopy, funky stuff on your windows, like when I first get a car, I'll usually use this stuff. But on this car, we don't really need that because I've maintained it. So I'm just going to use invisible glass. And the reason why I like to do the glass before I do the interior is because of this. I like to soak the glass down, which means I get it all over the place. And then, clean the surface. Now this is tinted. All the surfaces, all the glass surfaces in the car are tinted in my car, but it's okay because invisible glass is fine on tint. So use one initial towel, second drying towel to finish it up. Obviously the door glass is very simple to do. When we get to the windshield, it gets a little bit gnarlier. Okay, so now I've done this without a seat in the car before. Soak the windshield down. I'm probably gonna just get in the passenger seat and do it. I know people yell at me all the time for doing it this way, but I ain't got no foggy windows because this works great. And hopefully I won't have any squeaky seats anymore, because we lubricated them. Take the towel and beat the crap out of it. My biggest issue with the windows is usually GoPros. So just get it somewhat dry and then finish it with this. If it's too wet, this type of microfiber on the bonnet will just move stuff around. And you want to get this from my store, because otherwise you're going to get the wrong stuff. I'm telling you, you want the bonnet, not the stick-on thing that they have. This way is better. If you buy the newest version of this, it's wrong. It doesn't work very well. Just trust me on that. Nice. Love it. I do need to hit the gauges because I got them wet. Visible glass on your plastics and your infotainment screens and all of that. Works great with this towel. It's just fine. This is also the same procedure I would use on my television screen, my cell phone, my MacBook Pro or laptop screen. Same deal. All right, let's do this side window and then let's do the dreaded back window, which I hate doing. We're gonna have a nice clean windows, interior, exterior, engine bay. M3's finally got the treatment it deserves after getting beaten up for the last couple of months with water spots and can coat overspray and then water spots again. I left that part out about the second round of water spots that I got rinsing off the polish. I had to polish it again. This poor car, there's no paint left on it. All right, let me climb around, do the other side. It's just really hard to get leverage on this window. How am I sweating? I hate interiors. God, I hate this. Let's finish it up. A little interior cleaner wipe down, and we're done. This is why you need so many interior towels, because when you do a full interior like this, I'm gonna use a bunch of them. So I have 20 of them in my cabinet. So what I'm using is P&S interior cleaner. I like it because it doesn't leave anything behind. It just leaves like a really nice, clean finish with no extra. And I will generally spray it on the towel, unlike the glass cleaner. Just keep it under control because I don't want to mist it all over my windows. So this cleaner, this interior cleaner, will bother you at first. The smell. You're like, man, it smells like cat pee. Then it'll kind of grow on you. It has a weird, I don't even know how to explain the scent. Those of you that have used it understand it, but I mean, it goes away in like 2 seconds. So the scent is, to me, irrelevant. I just like the job it does on the interior. And then it doesn't leave anything behind. Let's give the car a little scent. I do Angel Wax Bliss. I'll hit the back seat. Hit the wheel wells. And then one in the carpet. All right, so that's a wrap. Interior is clean, dressed. Alcantara is restored. Last thing I'll do, which may take a day or two, when this all dries, we'll assess the Alcantara, and I'll do what I showed you, where we'll do a quick little sanding if I needed to with the sanding block, but I think we're going to be safe here. But M3's interior's dialed in. I'm glad we were able to hopefully address the seat squeaking, which is what necessitated all this stuff. But used various products. Pretty much everything that I saw here, I used that we used in the video is in the Obsessed Garage store. Go to the interior section of obsessedgarage.com, and we have all this stuff, the angel wax stuff, and the invisible glass, the leather care stuff from either Swiss Vax or Color Lock, and a lot of the tools and things that we use. The easy reach or reach and clean tool, all that stuff is in there. So anyway, thanks for watching. It'll probably be a while before I do another interior. Although the GT4 is coming, so we may do that one. We'll see. We'll certainly at least have to vacuum it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully sometime soon we'll be doing a vacuum study, figure out what vacuum cleaner works best, and we'll continue to chase product. So thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. Catch you on the next one.